Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Mountain Harmony Gardening. I'm Kristen, and today is planting day, so let's get started. Welcome back, everybody, to part 2 of our planting. We're going to continue with planting our melons and our zucchinis today and our yellow squash. And I'm going to be showing you how to plant these. So the first ones we're going to be starting with are our watermelon. Let's see, which kind do I have? Our Kajari melons. And I think that's it. But they're all really small melons that grow fast. We grew the Kajaris last year. Oh my goodness, they were so good. Well worth getting a Kajari, plus they're smaller. And then we got 2 watermelons that only grow to probably about like that large. So these will definitely grow in our climate. So let's get to planting these before it gets too hot out. I have our garden bed already set up. And you'll see that I have the cups already laid out, and we're going to be planting and then putting them as covers over the plants so that we can deter the roly-polies like I mentioned in our last video, because they really have a tendency to eat our melons and our squash plants. And I want to make sure that we get more melons and squash than we did last year. And the way that I'm doing this is I'm planting a lot more in this area than I normally would. That way, if a couple plants die, it's okay, because I even had some die later in the season last year, and I really want to make sure that we have plenty of plants. So now I'm going to show you how we plant these. We're going to be planting these the same as we planted the pumpkins, but because we don't have a trellis, these are going to vine down the bed, and they're just going to grow on the ground. But I'm going to leave the cups on there until they get established really good, and then I'm going to cut the cups off, wash them off really good, and then we're going to recycle them. So we need to start by digging a hole, and this bed already has the azomite in it, so I don't need to put any of the azomite in to begin with because we've already amended this bed. So I'm going to dig a little bit of a hole, take a little bit of the down-to-earth BioLive and sprinkle it in the hole just a little bit. And then I'm going to take my mycorrhizal and the first one I'm going to start with are the Kajari melons. These are my favorite. Oh, they're so good. They're a little bit different. They're a cross between like cantaloupe and another type of melon, maybe like a honeydew. Oh, they're really good. So I'd highly recommend you guys get those. So we're going to sprinkle a little bit of the mycorrhizae on there. And then we're going to bury these in really good. And this soil is really dry, so we're going to give this a good watering in as soon as we're done getting all these planted. And then you just want to, I'm going to take my gloves off so I can feel a little bit better. There we go. Now you just want to fish these through. And I kind of twist this into the soil and then push the soil back around. That way while I'm watering, the cups don't get knocked over and pull out the plants. So I know this looks a little bit funny, but hopefully this deters those awful roly-polies this year. And as soon as we're done planting all this, we'll be right back. We finished planting the melon bed. We have some Kajari melons, another type of melon in here, I can't remember the name at the moment, and then 2 different types of watermelons, and all of these stay small. Now the bed that we will be planting next is where the greenhouse used to be. And in this bed, we are going to be planting our zucchini and our summer squash. And I had planned on putting tomatillos right here and huckleberries on the other side. My huckleberries did not make it. They barely even sprouted this year. But I still have half the harvest from last year because we got so many huckleberries last year. So I'm not too terribly worried about it this year. It's okay. We'll just have more tomatillos instead. Oh, a breeze. Oh my goodness, that's so nice. It is so hot out here. I am so glad it's shady at the moment and windy. So what we're going to do is we're going to plant 5 of our tomatillos in the back. And then this part, we're going to do 5 between the zucchini and the summer squash because our fennel has gotten massive. It didn't look this good last year. So we're going to go ahead and leave it because I would really like to get some fennel this year. But we're going to try something different this year for planting our zucchini and our summer squash. And I've tried it before and it works okay. But the last time I didn't have a large enough stake. And this time we bought one of these 1x2s, honey? He's shaking his head, yes, they're 1x2s. And they are, I don't know if you could see this or not, but they are definitely not straight. Thanks to the big box stores, it's very hard to get straight lumber anymore. But it's for the garden. I don't care. A good chunk of this is going to be buried in the ground. It's totally okay. So the next step that I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you how we are going to plant our zucchini and our summer squash. The way that we're going to plant these is the same way that we planted everything else. We're going to put a little bit of the BioLive in the bottom, sprinkle some mycorrhizae on them, but we're going to take the stakes, and wherever these cups are represents where one of the plants is going to go. And we're going to drive these down into the ground a little better than that because that's as far as I can go. We'll need to use the mallet to get them the rest of the way into the ground. And if you have to, take a chop saw or something else and just put a point on these, and that'll drive them into the ground even further. And there's a big Landry running down the fence. Turn the camera and look. Landry! Gotta love our Landrys. So we're going to do a time lapse to show putting in all of these, and then I'm going to be planting the tomatillos behind them. We have the zucchini and the yellow zucchini or yellow squash planted. Plus, I also have my little tiny tomatillos planted. For some reason, my nightshade plants are not loving me this year, and they are not doing as well as I would like them to. But luckily, a friend of mine gave me some more tomatoes, so I'll be able to plant the tomatoes later on today, which will be in the video following this one. But right now, we're going to do some companion planting, and we're going to plant all of the pockets around here. So we will be right back after I have them planted, and we'll talk about what I planted. We just finished planting all of the cinder blocks around the garden, and we've planted a variety from marigolds, some basil, coleus, our perennial onions, and wherever there's a stick, that means there's a nasturtium planted. More marigolds, agastache, what's that one? Yarrow. These are sunflowers, some more basil. I planted a couple of petunias, and I also planted some snapdragons. And this is all the catnip that's coming up. So I really wanted to plant a variety in here. That way it attracts as many of the beneficial bugs as possible. I could put that in there. Look at you. What are you doing, you cat? What are you doing, you beast? Yes, you want to play, don't you? Yes. She's trying to get my hat. Oh, you funny cat. No! Wait. Let's not ruin my hat. Well, this concludes part 2 of our planting. And I swear we're only about halfway done, even though we should be a lot further along. Planting day is always a huge day for us. So next time we are going to be planting the peppers, and we're going to be planting the tomatoes. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is going to definitely be different for planting the zucchinis this year. And I will be taking you through every single step from the very beginning today all the way to the end to show you how to tie all of these up and how we're taking care of them. So thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Happy gardening.